So, what's exactly going on right now with the 49ers and Nick Bosa and these contract negotiations? Well, we've gotten a little bit of insight after most of these negotiations have been pretty dark and we really haven't gotten a lot of information at all. We actually got a little piece of info from Albert Breer from the MMQB article that he posted today. Shout out Steph Sanchez, who grabbed a screenshot of it. However, it's a bit confusing. So let's break it down. We'll read the whole thing and then we'll discuss what it actually means because I think it's getting reported multiple ways because it is a little bit confusing. But let's take a look at what this little excerpt says from the article regarding Nick Bosa's contract extension. Albert Breer goes on to say, we can start with Nick Bosa, who isn't going anywhere for a long time. The question is whether he's going to be the highest paid non quarterback of all time. He'll be the highest paid edge rusher. The difference between the two distinctions is less than $4 million per year. And the Niners and Bosa's people have been trying to bridge that gap for a while now. They have an artificial deadline coming, the start of the season. And at some point, something almost has to get done. It's when, not if. So, as a result, what's being reported right now, and I even reported it and kind of had to take a look at this like a fourth time because I've read this over so many different times. It first reads as though the 49ers and Nick Bosa are $4 million per year on average apart from agreeing to a contract negotiation. So again, if this is a 5-year contract, 5 times 4, is going to be the difference in the overall total amount. Now, obviously, there's guarantees, there's triggers, there's all different types of things that can be built into that. But that's how it's been reported. It's been reported from NBC Sports that way, and it's been reported from multiple different outlets that way as well. But if you and again, this is where I start to get confused because this isn't my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is breaking down film and talking about football, but this is what we do here too. And if you start to kind of pick it apart further after just reading it first at first glance, he's saying the distinction is basically between making Nick Bosa the highest paid non-quarterback of all time or the highest paid edge rusher. And that difference between those two distinctions is 4 million per year. So this is why this is a little bit confusing because two things can be true. The 49ers and Nick Bosa can be $4 million per year apart because they're going to make him the highest paid edge rusher of all time. And that the gap to make him the highest paid non-quarterback of all time is 4 million. It sounds like the difference is 4 million. But in reality, it could be something completely different. Maybe it's 3 million. Maybe it's 2 million. I do you see the confusion? At least for me, for the ginger beard. I'm trying to make sense of it as best as I can. But again, the way it's written is kind of confusing. And I think if you really try to break this down, it can be interpreted multiple different ways. So the way that I first read it was that there's a $4 million gap, and that's what they're trying to close. Now, that still can be true because that would mean right now the offer that Nick Bosa would have is as the highest paid edge rusher. And if the goal is to be the highest paid non quarterback, that's a $4 million difference. But that doesn't mean that's where they are. That actually doesn't mean that's what the issue is. It's just kind of alluding to the potential issue. So I'm not, there's probably a lot smarter people than I am that can make this distinction better than me. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I'm not gonna to lie to kick it. Um, so at first I read it as 4 million apart. It's also reading as that's just the difference between highest paid edge and highest paid non-quarterback. So it could be a $4 million gap, but it could also be something else. Does that make sense? Are you tracking with me? I don't know. You help me help you. Let's figure this out in the comments below. Again, this is from Albert Breer of the Quarterback. He's got my head all twisted up like a pretzel. And at the end of the day, clearly he got this information from somewhere. Did he get this from did he get this from the 49ers? Did he get this from the agent? Where's this coming from? Obviously, we're getting to that point where things got to get done, and this is our first technical leak. What is it? Is it a $4 million gap? Is it less than 4 million? Is it more than 4 million? What do we make of this particular situation? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit confused by it. I wish I could get on here and provide some clarity, but again, contracts, numbers, not my wheelhouse. My ADHD isn't loving the way this is written, and it feels like it leaves a lot of. It feels like it gives a definitive stance on where they are, but if you kind of keep diving into it, it also doesn't give a definitive stance. So I'm going to throw up the white flag. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm the expert on this. And well, nope, nope. But I am going to offer it up to you. You can help me understand if this makes sense to you. Drop it in the comments below. Let's figure this out together. But at the end of the day, why do we got to figure this out? Just pay Nick Bosa and we'll put this behind us and we'll move on. And we don't have to do any mental gymnastics of trying to discern and decipher what this means. So let me know what you think in the comments below and make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.